So we've got a polynomial here for us to factor. And what I really want to focus on is how we can handle these negative signs. Right now, one way to handle them is just to ignore them. Right, the original polynomial is negative, positive, negative. When I factor it, the polynomial inside the parentheses will be negative, positive, negative, and that's fine. Right, so to do that, first thing I notice is that there is no variable that all three terms have in common. The first two have an x, the second one has no variable, or the third one has no variable at all. So I'm not going to be able to factor a variable out of this. All I'm going to be able to do is focus on the numbers. If we look at those, we've got negative 6, 18, and negative 18. Greatest common factor of those is going to be 3. I'm going to do positive 3 here. Excuse me, positive 6. So let's rewrite it that way. This is 6 times negative x cubed plus 6 times 3x squared minus 6 times 3. So if I take the 6's away, bring them out in front, I'm left with negative x cubed plus 3x squared minus 3. And that's fine. That's a perfectly good factorization of this polynomial. But, you'll see as we get a little deeper into our factoring techniques here, there are going to be times when things just go a little more easily if the leading coefficient is positive. Right? So I don't want to have a negative out in front of that x cubed. I want to have a positive number out there. Right? So how can I make that happen? Well, now, instead of doing a positive 6, I'm going to do a negative 6. So this will be negative 6. Let me get my polynomial up here again. There we go. This will be negative 6 times x cubed plus negative 6 times negative 3x squared minus 6 times positive 3. So now let's take the minus 6's out. If I take this one out, I'm left with x cubed. If I take this one out, I'm left with negative 3x squared. And if I take this one out, I'm left with positive 3. And there's my other factored version where the leading coefficient is positive. Now, compare the two results here. Because as a practical matter, if I want to factor a negative thing out, I'm not going to go to quite that much trouble. Right? Compare these two results. In the first one, I've got a negative number, a positive number, and a negative number. Here I've got positive, negative, and positive. The coefficients are in absolute value the same. The only difference is their signs flipped. So when I'm doing something like this second case where I want to factor out a negative sign, I just kind of go through the same motions as if I were factoring out a positive 6. And I remember the rule here is when I factor out a negative, the sign of every term inside the parentheses just switches. That's kind of the quick and dirty way to do it. All right, so if you'd like to see the full context, the first link below will take you to the lecture video where I talk about how to rewrite these things in terms of the greatest common factor, and then we use the distributive property. Or the other link will take you to the next lecture in the series where we talk about methods, where we start talking about methods for factoring quadratic polynomials. Of course, if you like this video, please don't forget to click on the like button down below as well.